Talk to me about the relativity of wealth, the comparison and anchors.
The average, ordinary, median, middle-class American today, earning $60,000, lives a life that would be indistinguishable from magic to somebody 100 years ago. The access to the simplest things that you and I never think about, Advil, sunscreen, let alone phones and the internet and whatnot, would have seemed like magic to people. It is also true, and this is the important part, nobody wakes up thinking about how magical Advil is and how grateful we should be to live in a world that has Advil and penicillin and all this. Nobody, the speed at which a luxury becomes a necessity is 2 seconds. You can easily imagine a world in which our grandkids live in a world that if we could get a glimpse of it, had a time machine and could see how they're living in the world 2150, we've cured cancer, we're a multiplanetary species, whatever it might be, and they won't appreciate any of it because it'll just become a normal thing. And so that's always the case, that luxury becomes necessity very, very quickly. There's no definition of wealth. There's no objective definition of wealth. The only definition that makes sense to people is relative to other people. It doesn't matter how much money that I have. All that matters is that I have more than you. That's always been the case. It is 100 times more potent now because of social media. You judge yourself relative to other people. But your comparison group now is a curated, algorithmic, highlighted reel of the top 1% of moments of the top 1% of people's lives.
Globally.
Yes, globally. And as an iron rule of math, half the population has to be below the median.
Yep.
That's just how it works. Half the population has to be below average. And when everybody, though, is being almost force-fed the top 1% of moments of the top 1% of people's lives, you create the situation where a lot of people are living good lives by any historical standard. Yep. But we've created a world where I think most people expect what is effectively a top 1% outcome. And you see this a lot with college students, where a lot of people think that the baseline norm of what they want in life is a bachelor's degree from a flagship university, a corporate job that pays low 6 figures to begin with, great health insurance, great retirement, a 3,000 square foot house with 2 SUVs. That's become their baseline norm. Anything short of that is a failure. Yep. On one hand, I want to live in a world that has rising expectations. That's what progress is. But you also have to expect and understand that growth individually and as a whole society is never going to feel like you think it would be, because it just becomes the norm.
There is no such thing as objective wealth. There is only subjective wealth compared to the people around you. But there's another comparison, and it's you yesterday.
Yeah.
So not only do you need to be more than the people around you, but let's say you even manage to do that, right? Which is, by design, you're the outlier in that group. So however big the group is, which is now 8 billion people, I've done it. I'm in the top 10% or 1% of people that I compare myself to. How's your trajectory doing up against you?
Yeah.
Because you now have to run on a treadmill that's not only faster than all of the other people running on treadmills next to you, but the treadmill can only get faster on yours. Trajectory is more important than position. If you're the 100th best downhill skier in the world, but last year you were 150, you are in a subjectively better position than the second best downhill skier in the world, who last year was number 1.
I think for a lot of people, what they really like with money is not even being rich. It's the process of becoming rich. The change in the trajectory is way more exciting. People don't like you when you have something. They like you when you're pursuing something. Yeah. What tends to be attractive are not people who have a lot of resources. It's people who have the potential to acquire future resources. The med school student might be more attractive to a mate than a doctor.
Yeah.
It's the trajectory that they're on. I had been a full-time professional writer for 15 years before I wrote a book. And I was very comfortable. Felt like I had a great life, loved what I did, made enough money for my family to be totally happy and have some sense of independence. And then I wrote a book 15 years into it that I never expected to do anything, and the publisher didn't expect to do anything, but massively increased the trajectory of my career. And it felt great. It felt amazing for, I want to say, a year. And then it became, this is just where I'm at now. What makes you happy is surprise. It's experiencing something that you genuinely did not expect. And so when I had this bump in my career, there was a period of surprise. I never expected this to happen. And then after a period of time, it was like, okay, I'm used to this trajectory, and this is where we're at. So I think even when you're on a higher trajectory, you can get used to it very quickly. There's a hedge fund called Renaissance Technologies. It's the most successful hedge fund that's ever existed. It's not open to outside investors. Its average annual returns going back like 30 years are 66%. Which, if you don't know anything about finance, that is like Michael Jordan times 50. It's a different universe. But when you've earned 66% every year,
For
for 30 years. And if you earn it next year, like you got richer, but you're like, yeah, that's just what this does. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
So that's what I expect. And I imagine like when Taylor Swift makes $1 billion on tour, just that's what I do.
And anything short of that is a failure.
Anything short, I think that's always the case with anything that you do.
If the higher I climb is the further I fall, then why love anything at all?